that show up on there?
You're alive.
Can you see my
Alive.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Are you ready to lift your heart and praise? We sure are. All right, let's do this. You ready, Terry Charles?
Ready.
Miss Jean Cummings. It is such a joy to be here at Unity of Olympia. Early in the morning, when I rise, I lift my hands in praise because I'm alive. And late at night, when I lay down, I lift my heart in praise for the love I found. And I sing, ooh, 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 for the love I found. I'm gonna do it again. Early in the morning, that's right. When I rise, I lift my hands in praise because I'm alive. And late at night, when I lay down, I lift my heart in praise for the love I found. And I sing, ooh, ooh, for the love I found, for the love I found, for the love I found.
Good morning. My name is James Dallas, and you are in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Unity of Olympia's live online service, knowing that your home is also our church, so that we may come together in prayer. At Unity, we believe in a philosophy that is a positive, love-based spirituality that helps us to become models of positive living. And now my wife, Cynthia Dallas, will share a very appropriate daily word.
Good morning. July 19th, today's daily word is togetherness. While I treasure my times of quiet and solitude, I also look forward to enjoying the company of friends, family, and members of my faith community. Whether we're working, volunteering, praying, or simply enjoying one another's company, our shared experiences allow me to support people I care about and feel supported in return. I enjoy and value togetherness throughout every season of the human journey. During times of trial, hardship, or grief, being in the company of friends and family helps comfort me and keep me strong. Likewise, during times of celebration, being in the company of others multiplies my joys. In times of togetherness, may the love, peace, comfort, and joy of God bless us all. Acts 2:44. All who believed were together and had all things in common. And today's affirmation, I share God's love, peace and joy, if we can say this together. I share God's love, peace, and joy. And so it is.
Now let us affirm together our statement of faith. Please join me at home. There is only one presence. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, all power, presence, and wisdom. It is in God that we live, move, and have our being.
Believe in my strength, believe in my desire, believe in my dreams. I do. believe in me. Oh, my babies and I let go. I forgive myself and forget on to anything but love. And the one time, oh, my believe in my courage, believe in our strength, believe in our abilities, believe in my dreams. I do believe in me, believe in you. Oh, my release and I let go. I forgive myself forever. Hang on to anything but love, anything but love, anything but love.
Good morning, friends. Reverend Terry here. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I want to start by lighting our Christ candle. Uh-oh. Well, the lighter worked before, and now it doesn't. That happens sometimes. Have you ever had that happen in your life, where you had a plan, and you thought that this was going to be great, and you did all the practice, and you were ready to go, and then the moment you started, whoops, the plan just didn't go the way you practiced. I'm guessing that you've had that happen nearly as much as I've had that happen. Today, our lesson is focused on the daily word of togetherness, but it's also focused on yesterday's daily word, playful. I really want to bring a time of play and togetherness to our experience this morning. This past week I was walking on the Chehalis Western Trail, which I always want to call the Western Chehalis Trail, but you know it's backwards, or maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, I was walking on the trail with my granddaughters and my dog, and on the way back home we had an encounter with squirrels. There were 3 squirrels chasing each other around the base of this tree, and they were just going 90 to nothing. And then they'd turn around and go the other way, and they'd go up part way, and then they'd come back down. My dog, little terrier, his name is Penny, was just at the leash. He was so excited he couldn't speak. He stopped barking. It just wasn't going to happen. He wanted to eat a squirrel. I think sometimes that's how life can feel. It's like we're playing and having a great time, and everything's going well, and we don't even notice there's something going on in the background. In the world today, we all know what's going on in the background. We don't have to pretend that there isn't a pandemic. We don't have to pretend that there isn't injustice. That we don't have to pretend that life is challenging. What we do have to do is we have to check in with the truth of who and what we are. And when we do that, we find that we can be grounded in a sense of peace, love, and joy. It's what the daily word offered us today. Together, we share in God's good gifts, and I would submit that we are like those little squirrels, chasing each other around the trees, playful. This is the product of living an abundant life, the life that Jesus is quoted as having promised to us. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. To accept this gift of abundant life, we start with the heart. So, I want to begin with unity basics. You know, there are 5 basic principles in unity. The first is that there is one power and one presence, God. Now, I was talking with a girlfriend this week, and she said that what God is an umbrella full of goodies. I love that. God is an umbrella full of goodies, but we got to open the umbrella in order to receive the goodies. God is ever present, constantly showering us with gifts. And that takes us to the second principle, that we are expressions of the divine, that we are, for some people, the term children of God means more to them. We are each the anointed one unto our own lives. This is a big principle. The third is the law of mind action. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Now, that really means that the way that we experience the world is completely dependent upon the way that we think about the world, the thoughts that we carry. Two different people can have the same worldly experience around a candle not lighting and have completely different reactions. The way that we work with the thoughts that we hold in our consciousness, whether they serve us for good or don't serve us so well, is through prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation, the purpose is to connect with that divine essence, to know the truth of our being, and to start with the heart. Prayer and meditation are the tools that allow us to grow, to change. And last, action. Because when we change our hearts, when we change our minds, when we change the way that we see the world, we change the way that we behave. We change the world for better. Now, these beliefs and actions are a basic pathway to living the abundant life that Jesus talked about in that quote. But I want to bring that quote into context now. It comes from John chapter 10, verse 9 through 11. So I want to give you a warning for those of you who are uncomfortable with this. This may be an uncomfortable quote. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved, and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Now, traditional Christianity would tell us that God is outside of us, separate from us, and Jesus, the man, is the only path to salvation after we are done with our bodies in a heaven far away from here and now. Millions of Bible believers, millions of Christians around the world see this differently. They see this as a teaching that's relevant to right here and right now. That Jesus was teaching that the God presence is here and now, and not in the temple and not in the sky. He was teaching a new relationship to God. Jesus was teaching that we need to look at things differently and see how things really are. Over and over in his parables, it was about turning things around from the normal way of seeing things. The thief that he refers to in this passage actually represents the false beliefs that we tell ourselves, the things that we don't know about. This is what keeps us from abundance, is believing that heaven is out there somewhere after we're done with our bodies. I believe that when Jesus was making this statement, these teachings, that he was saying that the Christ essence is within you and within me and within our friends in every space and every place, and that is the way, is to develop that God consciousness and to bring that from the heart into the world through action. In Unity, we also have a tool set, a toolkit called the 12 Powers. What we recognize is that every human being an expression of the divine, is innately gifted with powers for love, for wisdom, for faith. And that these things already exist within us. So we focus on these 12 powers as tools for growth. So in the spirit of playfulness, I have taken these 12 powers and renamed them. And I've renamed them as a tribute to a friend of mine who joins us on Wednesday evening during our alternative Wednesday evening service, who mentioned racehorse names. So here, I'd just like to present to you perhaps some alternative names for the 12 powers that may make it easier for you to relate or to question and see, just to see how it is that you relate to these powers. Faith. Do you relate to it as lucky? Or perhaps the other horse called upper caw. Strength, which is steadfastness. It's a stick-to-itiveness. Do you relate to it as a grindstone or as the staff of life? Wisdom, good judgment, that is. Do you relate to it as a citation or as take two, meaning that wisdom comes from experience? Love. Now, this may be a question of how you practice it more than how you see it. Here's a couple of horses. Is the love horse for you an unbridled? Or perhaps it's cherish. Power, which is mastery. It's really becoming the master over a particular thought or action. Power, do you see it as assault or stronger than yesterday? Yes, those are both real horse names. Imagination, the power of imagination, is it whirl away or is it a dream machine? Understanding, is it know-it-all? I have been known to take that horse. And yet, I want to be open to the revelator, to reveal more and more. The power of will, is that about temperance or is it about desire? Order, is that about a sheriff or is it about recognizing layer by layer? Zeal and enthusiasm, is that a moving violation or is it zizzle? Release, is release an exterminator or fly free? Life, wrangler or blazer? These are the 12 powers in a sort of a different context so that we can take a look. What is our relationship with them? And how might we come into a practice that allows us to bring out the very highest and best of who and what we are? Is it 12 powers even? I found another name for, is it the epic run or is it happy trails? I would suggest that happy trails may be the practice. And so we take time in meditation and prayer to focus on these 12 powers, and this is a pathway to our current day salvation, to peace, to joy, to comfort, and even to playfulness. Here and now salvation. We start with the heart. Now, today would not be complete if I didn't talk about Congressman John Lewis. He represented Georgia, and he passed this week. And so did his friend, Reverend C.T. Vivian. Both were avid civil rights advocates. Both participated in the 1963 March for Voting Rights in Selma. Both were beat by officers of the law in that march. I spent a lot of time learning more about these men, their histories. They were both deeply committed to their faith. They were both moved to love and nonviolence, to change through nonviolent action. The story about John Lewis that just lifts me up to no end is that he recognized who he was from the time he was young, when he was in the farmyard preaching to his chickens. And as he tells the story, which thank God for internet, I get to see all kinds of stuff. As he tells the story, he says, and they would nod at the right time, and they would shake their heads at the right time, but he never could get them to say amen. John Lewis made a difference. Now, sometimes it can feel like we've made 2 steps forward and then there's a little backsliding. And I believe that that's what's happened in our culture, in our politics, in our government. And 2 steps forward and 1 step back is still better than no steps forward. And we can make 2 steps forward again, I think. I invite each of you to really consider these 12 powers, to really consider the 5 basic principles of unity. And I believe that these men did. Listen to what people said about John Lewis. He was the conscience of Congress. He gave voice to the voiceless. And then, there's another thing that was said about him in the early 70s. He is morally unfit. We must dig deeper than the top layer. We have to do that within our own consciousness as well, because in digging deeper and in focusing and inviting our hearts to be the beginning, we can come up with something better, something greater. John Lewis said, we must never ever give up. We must be brave, bold, and courageous. He said, get in trouble. Good trouble, necessary trouble. He was arrested 40 times in the 1960s and went on to become a congressman. He said, we have proven that we can solve social problems without violence if we choose. You know, both of these men were awarded the highest civilian honor in our United States of America by President Obama. It's the Presidential Medal of Freedom. When President Obama presented the medal to John Lewis, he quoted Rosa Parks by saying this about John Lewis's activism. Even after things had supposedly been taken care of and we had our rights, he was still out there inspiring the next generation. And Obama said, including me. I want to start with the heart. One of the things that I know is that I didn't really know anything about this man up until yesterday. I believe that it is time for us to change the way that we are doing things. Now, I don't know exactly what the right next step is, except that I know that the right next step for me is prayer and authentic disclosure that I have to tell you that this is my experience and my heart's desire is to make change. The last video that I saw of John Lewis yesterday was a video of him dancing, and I am not going to imitate it because he is a far, far better dancer than I. It was a birthday party in his office, and apparently the video went viral. His co-workers, colleagues told him about it the next day. He didn't even know what viral meant. But I love that this man, as I review the 12 powers and our 5 principles, I recognize that we in Unity have made a wise choice in honoring all faith traditions and all paths to God, because from what I can see, from the information I find, this man has lived his Christ potential. And I need examples. We all need to see examples of people living out their Christ potential, of people experiencing salvation in the here and now. And I believe John Lewis was one of those people. When we start with the heart, we can lighten up. We are stronger. We have the strength to turn within and see ourselves and see our thinking and see what we don't know. We have all the authority on heaven and earth to develop the Christ consciousness that brings us into a greater expression of love. John Lewis said, only the things that help you help somebody else are really worth the effort. I want to tell you that this community has always been a community that's honored being of service, and yet, since this shutdown of church, as it was in the building, since the pandemic, we have started to be of service on a regular basis, and not just a special occasion, because one of the things that we recognize is that people are not just going without on a special occasion. People are going without on a regular basis. People are homeless every day, not just at Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so I want to thank each and every one of you who have participated in helping to provide lunch for the homeless at the Martin Way Shelter on Wednesdays. Kathy Evans wrote me a note. The Unity community has embraced this service project, resulting in care and love going out to many. There have been over 67 folks bringing food over the last 4 months. She says, my words will never be able to share the delight I see when our donations arrive. That action comes from love. I am also humbled, proud at the same time, and grateful that we as a community have stepped into regular service to be change makers. You know, today's daily word is togetherness, and yesterday's was playful. The affirmation was, I bring a playful spirit to my day. Today's affirmation is, I share God's love, peace, and joy. I invite each of you to be in playful relationship with squirrels, with dogs, with people, don't touch the squirrels, by the way. And if the dog's not yours, ask first. But we deserve play. In the midst, we are expressions of the Most High. Let us live into that. Yesterday, as I was walking Finney just around the block this time, I saw a very young squirrel playing with a stick. The stick was sticking up out of the ground about, I don't know, 8 inches or so. It wasn't very big around. But this young squirrel was attacking the stick and then going around it. And then he'd attack the stick and fall on his back. He'd go around the tree trunk and come back and attack the stick. My heart just opened for the playful nature of nature. And I invite your heart to open to your own playful nature. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Terry. That's some big inspiration we've got going there. All right, as we enter that meditation space, let's take a couple of deep breaths. We're just going to call on a softening as we sing together. There's only one presence, one power that is love. There is only one moment in this hour that is now. Everybody, love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. Ooh. Everybody, love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. There is only one presence, one power that is love. There is only one moment in this hour that is now. Everybody, love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. Everybody, love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. Let's place a hand on our heart as we sing it one more time. There is only one presence, one power that is love. There is only one moment in this hour that is now. Everybody, love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. Ooh. Everybody, love now, love now, love now, love now, love now.
So I invite you into a time of meditation. Close your eyes if that's comfortable, or find a focal point upon which your eyes might rest. Let your body sink more deeply into the seat beneath you. Just do a scan of the body quickly. Take note of any part that may call for your attention. Breathe into it. Follow the breath as if it was a mighty river flowing to every cell, to every limb, every organ. This breath that we call the breath of God, the breath of life. Providing perfect life and peace and ease and health. We bring our attention to our heart space. I invite you to allow these words to be your own as we move forward. working toward mastery in all areas of my life. The power of imagination fuels my dreams. Spiritual understanding comes to me with ease. My personal will and the desires of my heart are aligned. Divine order is at work in every part of my life. I release anything that no longer serves me, my family, my loved ones, and the world. With enthusiasm, with zeal, I embrace life itself. I see, I affirm that divine life is constantly being renewed in me. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to know that these are the truths about who I've come here to be. I invite you to take a moment and be with the words that spoke to you the deepest, the most, in a few moments of silent reflection. I am life. I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly.
There is only one presence, one power, that is love. There is only one moment in this hour that is now. Everybody love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. Ooh. Everybody love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. There is only one presence, one power, that is love. There is only one moment in this hour that is now. Everybody love now, love now, love now, love now, love now. Ooh. Everybody love now, love now, love now, love now, love now.
Indeed, there is only one presence. There is only one Reverend Terry. There's only one Janine Cummings and only one Terry Charles. We are so blessed. We know that you are here today by a divine online appointment, not by accident. We'd like to welcome each of you to this new form of service that we trust will feed your spirit during these most unusual times. Together we can continue to hold the high watch for the good of our church, our planet, and for everyone on it. If you're new to the Unity of Olympia, if you'd like more information, please complete the guest survey on our website under the Contact Us tab and consider joining us for one of our connection activities. Join us during the week for our Affirmative Prayer Circle, Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with Reverend Terry, our Community Connection, which is our Wednesday alternative service. There's a new class in August with our licensed Unity teacher, Audrey Pitchford, on conversation skills. Registration is required for all these events. Wednesday lunches for the Martin Way Shelter. Happy to report July is full. August is full. September 2nd is available still, otherwise September is full. How's that? And Kathy's currently scheduling for October. Contact Kathy Evans at Community Coordinator at unityofolympia.org to participate. Please join us for our Zoom Sunday Fellowship experience. The link and password to a Zoom room are in your e-news that came out yesterday. Grab your coffee and a snack and join us at 10:45. If you're not on our email list, you can register on our website at unityofolympia.org. Just check on the Media tab, then the Newsletters tab, and you'll find a place to register on the left hand of the screen. Now we come to a time when we honor the law of giving and receiving. When you make a conscious contribution to the support of Unity of Olympia, you are investing in your spiritual well-being and helping to provide spiritual nourishment for the many who need our message right now. If you are not an electronic contributor, please continue to support this spiritual community, which can easily be done on the church website at unityofolympia.org. Or you can text your gift at 360-234-2669. And now consider your gift and let us bless it with divine love. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Open to the sacred richness of our infinite source, we as Unity of Olympia joyfully co-create prosperity right now. Thank you, God.
Truth and grace, lead our country home to freedom, freedom, freedom for us all. May the light of justice, truth and grace, lead our country home. May you lead our world home. And we'll rise until freedom has been won. May the light of justice, truth and grace, lead our country home. May you lead our world home. May you lead our world home.
Hey, friends, I found a lighter. Check it out. You know, that's that symbol of our Christ nature, of the divine presence, of the essence of who and what each one of us is. It's on fire. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've had a really good time being with you. And I want to remind you that we are having a concert. I'm hosting Janine Cummings in a concert called Music is Prayer. I very much would love to see all of you there. It'll be available on Facebook Live or through our website, just like this morning. So we want to make it real easy for you. And of course, your conscious contributions toward that that concert would be greatly appreciated. I look forward to it. Please join me in our closing prayer. How's it start? It's one of those days. The light of God. Do it together from home. And were you guys doing me here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you.